negativities, you must substitute them with positivities. So therefore, cultivate satsang. What is satsang? Satsang is not just going and listening to a bhajan being sung, or sitting and staring at a guru and satsang. It's not that. Satsang is the company of good thoughts at every level of your personality. What you see, eat, hear, smell, touch. What kind of emotions do you expose yourself to? What kind of thoughts do you entertain in your mind? What kind of people? Today's newspaper said something very interesting. It says, those who are keeping the company of fat people tend to become fat themselves. Did you read that? Don't take it too literally, please. If you have a fat family member, don't go and divorce unnecessarily. But it is true. You must keep the company of positive thoughts, positive people. That is why every king in ancient India had an in-house, full-time rishi, sage. Today there are no kings and neither are there rishis. So that's our condition. The third is, fix a goal for yourself and have a compelling vision of what you want to achieve in life. The clearer your goal is, the easier it is to pursue it. So don't have vague goals that are someday I want to become a millionaire. What are you doing about it? In the spiritual field, you must have a vision of the transcendental and act in the world to get there. For instance, all the spiritual path is meant to get to the transcendental, but what you're doing is engaging in the world. If what you're doing is part of the spiritual path, you must have no interest in the result thereof. Because the result will come to you. Result is prosperity, result is name, fame. The world will pay homage to such a person because of the sheer power of your actions in the world. But you must be completely disinterested in what the world has to offer to you because you are totally interested in what the transcendental is about. And what is the spiritual path? The spiritual path is the 3D plan of action, 3D path to the goal, which is at the physical level, act in a spirit of dedication. At the emotional level, cultivate devotion. At the intellectual level, cultivate discrimination. So what is this? This is, in order to sharpen your discrimination, sharpen your intellect, which you need even to get on in the world, and you certainly need it to get to this spiritual status. Study the scriptures. Now, when I say study the scriptures, you're at a loss, you don't know where to begin. What I would recommend is begin with the book Profile of a Perfect Person. Why I'm recommending that, which is available outside, is that it has a fairly exhaustive introduction of what Vedanta has to offer, and then it moves on to a short portion, the last 19 verses of chapter 2 called Sthita Prajna, which was Gandhiji's favorite. Every day he would repeat these 19 verses before he started his day. And the reason these 19 verses are highly inspiring is because they point to not only the goal of self-realization, but they tell us how to get there. Very, very useful 19 verses. Second, when you interact with people, what is this devotion? How do you feel towards them? Do you feel competitive towards people, or do you feel a sense of oneness with them? Devotion is developing this sense of oneness and removing hatred. So cultivating oneness is difficult. But what is easier is to identify where you are cultivating hatred. Now, when you start detecting this, you come to the horrible realization that it is not some terrorist somewhere that I hate, some murderer somewhere that I hate, that is bothering me. It is the little things about the people you love that irritate you, that are the cause of your stress. For instance, a typical example of this is recently in Delhi, a lady came to me and said, I'm having problems with my 15-year-old daughter. Because a lecture was organized in Delhi, and most refreshingly, I found a fairly large number of young people. And so, I was so thrilled because normally I don't have young people in my audience, just look around and see. But, so when I saw the young people, I started talking to them and there was an instant connection. That's when the mother came to me and said, how did you connect with my daughter? I have a problem with her. Whatever I say, she rebels, she gives back answers, she's rude. So that's because the way you are relating to the daughter is one in which there's full of expectations, full of criticism. There is no understanding to begin with. If only you were able to understand the conflict that a 15-year-old goes through. It's not easy being a 15-year-old in the 21st century, please remember that. All you have to do is stretch a little bit, understand, empathize, and all will be well. Your own daughter, the 15-year-old, will respond with love and affection. The onus is on us, not on the children. So therefore, when we talk about a feeling of oneness, we are not talking about how to feel one with the neighbor, please, whom you hate. We're talking about how to feel one with the people in your own homes. Within the family, there is conflict and struggle and an inability to get on with people that you love, and that is what is causing the stress. And the third is, whenever you act with a sense of service and sacrifice. How does this service-mindedness come? When you understand that you are indebted to people. The other day, fairly senior naval officer asked me to speak to his officers. And at the end of it, he asked me, "So how much do you charge?" And I looked at him and said, the fact that I'm alive, I owe it to the armed forces. Because if there weren't people like you who protected us, God knows what would have happened to us. I consider this a great privilege that I'm able to repay in some small way what I owe to all of you. If every action of ours we are able to perform like that, with this attitude, not just to the armed forces, to anybody whom you come across, and say, let me do some little act of service to you, some token of my indebtedness, to communicate to you that I am grateful for what you have given me. And we have received from every single person in the universe. Every single element in the universe is contributing to our welfare. So when you become aware of that, you are aware of your indebtedness to the world. And every action you'll perform with a sense of payback. That you're grateful for having the opportunity to serve. Instead, when somebody calls you and your secretary tells you so-and-so is on the line, tell him I'm busy in a meeting. You don't even want to know what the person wants to say. And the excuse is that you're busy. If you think you're busy, if you say you're busy, it only means you're highly inefficient. Nobody in the world is so busy that you can't take a phone call. So, when you change your attitude, you develop this attitude of service and sacrifice. These three things, let's go back with these three ideas to develop Shraddha. Number one, study the scriptures, not once a year, not once a month, every single day. Change your attitude from that of hatred to love. Start with your own family members. These little irritants, little negatives that come up, when you're interacting with your own family members. And third, most importantly, develop this sense of indebtedness. Whatever you do, you must do with this intensity of feeling, I owe it to you, and thank you for giving me this wonderful opportunity to serve you.